Let me ask you a question. How much did you spend last year on things you didn't actually want? Not the designer bag or the holiday you splurged on. I'm talking about the wedding in Phuket you couldn't really afford. The ang pao that was bigger than you planned because your aunt just gave your kid 200 ringgit and you panic. The group dinner where everyone split the bill equally even though you ordered the cheapest pasta while everyone else had steaks and cocktails. Nobody budgets for this stuff. But if you added it all up across 12 months, you probably find thousands of dollars or ringgit quietly disappearing into what I call social performance spending. And here's the thing, you're not getting anything back for it except exhaustion. Welcome to Why We Spend. I'm here to talk about the money psychology we don't usually discuss out loud. And today we're talking about keeping up with the Dato next door. Spoiler alert. It's a full-time job and it pays absolutely nothing. So let's start with what social performance spending actually is, because I think most of us are doing it without even realizing it. There's a difference between genuine generosity and performance. When you're genuinely generous, it feels good. You want to give that gift. You want to celebrate with that person. There's no mental gymnastics involved. You hand over the ang pao or buy the present and you feel warm about it. That's real generosity. Social performance spending feels completely different. There's this low-grade anxiety humming in the background. You're doing maths in your head. What did they give last time? What's everyone else giving? What will people think if I give less? You can't fully enjoy the wedding or the dinner because part of your brain is busy managing how you're being perceived. And afterwards, there's this flatness. You did the right thing socially, you avoided judgment, but it cost you something emotionally and financially, and you know it. Here's the uncomfortable bit. Most of us do both. We're generous and we're performing, often at the same time. The motivations are tangled up like earphones in your pocket, and spending money is just easier than untangling them. So we spend. We keep spending. And we tell ourselves it's fine because it's what you do. Now, if you're watching this from Singapore or Malaysia, you already know this hits differently here. The social fabric in our part of the world creates specific pressure points around money that people from other cultures don't always understand. Let me walk you through a few. First, Chinese New Year and Hari Raya. The gifting culture, the ang pao tradition, is beautiful, right? It's about sharing prosperity, showing respect across generations, celebrating together. But when income levels in a family start to diverge, things get tricky. You might be earning decently, but you're still building your career, paying off your flat, managing your own bills. Meanwhile, there's this expectation that because you've quote-unquote made it, you should be giving more. Your richer relatives give your kids generous ang paos, and suddenly you're in this silent negotiation about reciprocity that nobody actually discusses. You're giving more than you planned because you don't want to look kadekut. You don't want to be the stingy one, so you stretch, and it stings. Then there are weddings. A Malaysian or Singaporean wedding isn't just one event, it's multiple events. Engagement, solemnization, tea ceremony, reception, sometimes across multiple days or even multiple cities. By the time you factor in the ang pao or gift, the outfit you had to buy because you can't wear the same thing twice when everyone's posting on Instagram, the travel, the accommodation if it's destination, and maybe a hen or stag do on top, you're looking at 500 to 1,000 ringgit or dollars per wedding, easily. Now multiply that by 4 or 5 weddings a year, which is completely normal when you're in your late 20s or early 30s, and you've got a significant chunk of money going out the door. And yet, personal finance advice almost never talks about this. It's just assumed you'll figure it out. Work culture adds another layer. Lunch with colleagues, team dinners, farewell drinks, someone's birthday cake, secret Santa. It's all optional in theory, but we know it's not really optional. If you consistently opt out, you're signaling something. You're aloof, you're not a team player, you're cheap. Most people aren't willing to pay that social price, so they pay the financial price instead. 10 ringgit here, $20 there. It adds up faster than you think. And then there's the successful child rule. Many of us navigate this unspoken expectation of financial generosity toward parents and extended family as our careers progress. Now, let me be clear. Taking care of your parents, contributing to family needs, that can absolutely be a genuine expression of love and respect. But when it becomes a performance, when you're giving more than you can sustain because of what it communicates about your status, not because it's what you can truly afford, that's when it starts to hollow you out. You're funding an image of success that might not reflect your actual financial reality. So what's the real cost of all this? Obviously, there's the money itself. Every ringgit or dollar spent managing appearances is money that's not saved, not invested, not going towards something that genuinely matters to you. But there's a less obvious cost, and honestly, I think it's worse. It's the exhaustion. Social performance spending is mentally draining because you're always calculating, always anticipating the next event, always bracing yourself for the next decision about how much to spend to maintain the image. There's no off switch. You can't relax. And here's the cruel irony. Most of the people you're performing for are performing for someone else. Everyone at that wedding, everyone in that restaurant, everyone handing over pows, they're all quietly doing the same maths in their heads. Nobody is as financially comfortable as they're pretending to be. The whole thing is a collective illusion, and it's costing everyone real money. You're all paying to maintain a facade that nobody actually believes, but everyone's too afraid to drop. Now, before anyone gets defensive, this is not an argument for being stingy. I'm not saying don't go to weddings. I'm not saying don't give pao. I'm not saying avoid your friends. Connection matters, celebration matters, belonging matters. These are not frivolous things. What I'm saying is that the spending attached to them should be a conscious decision, not a reflex driven by fear. There's a huge difference between saying, I'm spending this amount because I genuinely want to, and it's within what I can afford, versus saying, I'm spending this amount because I'm terrified of what happens if I don't. One of those is a choice. The other is a tax you're paying on your own anxiety. So what do you actually do about this? You don't need to overhaul your entire social life or become a hermit. You just need 3 quiet boundaries, decided in advance, not in the heat of the moment when the pressure's live. Boundary 1. Set an annual gift and celebration budget. Look at your calendar. How many weddings, birthdays, major events are realistically coming up this year? Assign a total annual budget for this category. Once that number is set, individual decisions get easier. You're not deciding from scratch every time. You're allocating from a pool. This takes the emotional charge out of each moment. You've already decided, you're just executing. Boundary 2. Decide on your personal floor for pows and gifts. What's your comfortable range regardless of what others give? Write it down somewhere private if it helps. When the moment comes, you give from that range. You don't negotiate it upward in real time because someone else just handed over a red packet that looked thicker than yours. Your range is your range. Stick to it. Boundary 3. Pick a social opt-out you're comfortable with. Not every invitation requires a yes. Choose 1 or 2 low-stakes categories where you're willing to say no without guilt. The optional team lunch. The 3rd birthday dinner this month for someone you barely know. The group buy you were pressured into. Practice the quiet, non-dramatic decline. I can't make this one. That's it. That's a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone a justification or a story. Just a polite no. Look, keeping up costs more than you realize. And the people you're trying to keep up with are usually trying to keep up with someone else. At some point, it's worth asking who's actually winning this race, and whether the destination is somewhere you even want to go. If this resonated with you, head over to whyWeSpend.com. We dig into the psychology behind how and why we spend, because understanding the why is the first step to changing the what. And if you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell. There's a lot more where this came from. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.